In this presentation, what we're looking at is how to calculate market share. There is another one that we've done on market growth, and I suggest that you look at the two of them consecutively because the other one will be very helpful to you too. I know this is an area that some students do struggle with, although to be quite honest, it's not that complicated, and hopefully by the end of these two presentations you'll feel a bit more comfortable with it. Now there is a very basic calculation that you need to be able to do, a percentage calculation that you need to be able to do, and Emma's going to show you how to do that now.
Okay, so today we're going to be looking at how to find a percentage. Now let's say you've got 20 pupils, so 20 is going at the bottom, that's our whole number, that's boys and girls. If we want to find out what the percentage is of 4 boys in the class, that goes at the top. Okay, so 4 out of 20, 4 being the boys and 20 boys and girls within the class. We then times that by 100, as we're finding out the percentage, which equals 20, if you've got your calculator with you, and don't forget to put the percentage sign at the end.
Okay, so fairly straightforward. What we would be looking at in market share is the sales of the individual firm over the total sales in the market. So instead of looking at the total number of children in the classroom, it's total sales in the market. Instead of looking at the number of boys, we're looking at the sales of the individual firm, and just dividing one by the other and multiplying by 100 in exactly the same technique. So basically 2 bits of information you need to look for: sales of the individual firm and total sales in the market. We're going to be looking at the coffee and a cake case study from January 2013. You're going to need a pen, a calculator undoubtedly, and you really need a copy of this case study to be working through this. They are available on Moodle and also of course on the AQA website. So if you could press pause now and get those items together. Okay, so this is the case study here from January 2013, and it's called Coffee and a Cake, and we're all talking here about Bill and Olivia. Now if we go down to scroll down to the question that we're looking at, the question we're looking at is 1b. Calculate to one decimal place Bill and Olivia's expected market share of the coffee market, or the coffee shop market in Camford in 2013. Quite a few things you've got to look for here. Obviously you need to make sure that you do it to one decimal place, although we'll come back to that at the end. That's not an issue to begin with. We are looking at the word expected here. It's not historic data. We're looking at what they think will be their sales in the market. So therefore we're probably looking at something like a cash flow forecast or a budget forecast. We're not really looking for anything historic. So if we find a forecast in there somewhere, you're probably on the right tracks. And obviously we're focusing on Camford and we're focusing on 2013. Now my recommendation for a question like this is that there are lots of different things that we're looking for here, and I think you ought to go in and just focus on the year 2013. Once you find the year 2013, then have a look and see whether you've got either the pieces of information that you need attached to it. And the 2 pieces of information we need are the total sales in the market in Camford, or total value of the market in Camford, and Bill and Olivia's expected market share of that market. Okay, but look for the year first. You can't go too wrong if you do that. So let's just go through it fairly systematically. First paragraph, no mention of the year 2013 or of any year, so that's not relevant. Second paragraph, same thing again, no mention of any year. But in the third paragraph, we can see in the middle, just here, a mention of the total value of the market size. So the market in Camford is expected to increase from 8.4 million in 2013 to 9 million in 2014. So the bit that we want really is this bit here, the 8.4 million. That's your first piece of information. The total value of the market in Camford in 2013 is 8.4 million. That's going to form the bottom part of your equation. If you did accidentally use the 9 million, you can still pick up marks, but you would lose 1 mark for doing so, for using the wrong figure, provided everything else was done correctly. Okay, so we've got 1 piece of information there. Again, I'm going to stick with this idea of just looking for the year. 2013 is mentioned again here, but there are no numbers to go with it, so that can't be relevant. Nothing about any year in the next paragraph. Next paragraph, they mention 2012, but not 2013. This paragraph here, this table of data is related to the 2012 above. The paragraph below does mention 2013, but there's no data to go with that, so that can't be relevant. But if we move to the next page, you will see again, top paragraph, no mention of any year. And then we've got the introduction to the cash flow forecast. And two things that you'll see about this. First of all, the word forecast. Remember that in the question, we're looking for the forecasted market share, or the expected market share. So we knew all the time we were going to be looking for a forecast. And we're looking here at 2013. You can see 2013, 2013, etc. Okay, now what we want to find out is what they expect to sell during 2013. So if we look at the different row headings here, it can't be cash outflows, that's money going out, such as costs. Can't be net cash flow, because that's cash inflows minus outflows. And it can't be either of these, opening or closing balance, because that's talking about how much money they've got effectively in their bank account. So this is the row that we're interested in, but we only want to go down to the end of 2013. Be cautious that you don't include any of the 2014 figures. So they've divided the year up into 4 quarters. They haven't made it too easy for you. Obviously what you need to do is to add those 4 figures together. But we do now have the 2 pieces of information that we need. These are the expected sales for Bill and Olivia in the market in 2013. And then further up here we had the 8.4 million, which is the total market value in 2013. But what I'd like you to do now is put this on pause and have a go at calculating the market share for Bill and Olivia, or the expected market share for Bill and Olivia in Camford in 2013 to 1 decimal place. Okay, so put this on pause now, please. Okay, let's have a look at this then. So here's the question up here again. Here's the information that you needed, the 8.4 million, and down here you've got your sales income, which you added together. Hopefully you'll have the same answer as me. First thing to do is to write down the line of work, the equation, which is the sales of the coffee and a cake divided by total sales in the market times 100. That will give you 1 mark. Don't forget to write in times 100 or you won't get the mark. And then hopefully you will have found that that came to 3.9%. Now you'll see here that it looks like you can get 4 marks, but the question's only worth 3 marks. What it's actually saying is that if all of this was incorrect, you would still pick up that 1 mark there for doing your line of working. But it's worth doing it just in case you make some silly mistakes afterwards. Okay. Now, I do realise that some students have a problem with the fact that this is in thousands and this is in millions. So what I want to do is just have a quick look at how to address that particular issue. You do need a calculator for this without a doubt. And what you have to be looking at here is either converting the bottom part of that fraction into thousands or converting the top into millions. Let's have a look first of all at converting this into thousands. What we've got here is 8.4 million. So to convert that into thousands, you simply do 8.4 times a million. And don't forget that there are 6 zeros in a million, and that will give you that number as a number with all the thousands on it. So you will end up with 8,400,000. Don't forget that that 8 there is represented by the 8 there, 8 million. And the 0.4 takes up the first 0 from your normal billions, because it's 0.4 of a million. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but just in case you're not sure, that's where the 4 comes from, okay? So we've got 8,400,000. Therefore, the equation that we're doing, or the calculation that we're doing, is 328,000 divided by 8 million, I hope I don't do this wrong at this stage, 8,400,000, and that comes to 0.039, okay? If I did do it wrong, I wouldn't tell you because I wouldn't redo this whole thing. Okay, times 100, and that actually comes to 3.904. Now, 3.904 is closer to 3.9 than it is to 3.91 or closer to any other number, so therefore it has to be 3.9. Okay. Now, the other possibility, and this is the way that I would prefer to do it, is to convert the top part of the fraction into millions. And to do that, instead of multiplying by a million, this time we take 328,000 and we divide by a million. Again, don't forget 6 zeros in a million. Divide by a million, and that will give you that number in millions. And here we go, 0.328. Now, some of you may have spotted that anyway, because 328,000 is roughly a third of a million, so therefore it would be 0.3 something, so 0.328 million has to make sense. But if you're not sure about that, divide by a million, or alternatively do it the way we just did it a moment ago. Now, if we leave it this way, we've got 0.328 million on top, divide it by 8.4, and that gives us the same answer, 0.039, and then multiply that out by 100 to turn it into a percentage, and you've got your 3.904, 3.9%. Don't forget to put the percentage sign in, that is important. They could take a mark away for not doing so. Okay, now don't forget that there is an additional presentation that we've done on calculating market growth, and I think you ought to have a look at that one now. That's also for coffee and a cake, and hopefully that will see you through those two specific areas.